Hello and welcome to Uncaged World Fighters. My name is Charlie. I'm one of the developers of this card game here at ZeMind Game Studio. Right now I'm playing a game with one of the other developers, Matt. We're going to go through an example game to show you what's in the box and all that fun good stuff. As you can see, each box contains a manual, a token, 4 fighters, and 50 technique cards. So basically what happens to start the game is you'll flip a coin or determine who wants to pick the fighter first, and right now we'll just call it in the air. Matt wins it, and then the other player gets to pick which deck they want to start off with first. So this is just kind of an evening out balance. You'll notice that we both picked a fighter. Each fighter has a unique ability that'll help you steer them towards victory. Inside each fighter card, there's a number inside the lightning bolt, and that's their stamina number, and a number inside the heart, that is their health point pool. What this really does is it lets you know sort of what weight class and stuff that they're in. And basically these two fighters both have 20 HP and 3 stamina. Now the stamina number will change depending on the circumstance of the game, but stamina, much like in actual fighting, is a very important thing to have. Alright, so now as we get off here, we touch gloves. And as you can see, I'm going to take the attack deck and I'm going to draw 5 cards, which is the normal hand, plus the 3 cards in my stamina. And my opponent will do the same. Alright, so we're going to take a couple seconds to determine which cards go into a combo. So what happens next is we both take out of the 8 cards, we both select 5 and place them face down from left to right in front of us. Now the order here really matters, so we're going to need to strategize carefully. You'll notice that in between our fighters there's a small arrow token card, and what that does is it indicates where the fight is taking place. So for example, if the fight is taking place standing like it is now, cards like armbar are invalid. You can see in the top left corner of armbar that the arrow points down. It doesn't line up, so it's invalid. Yep. And so basically what ends up happening is we end up flipping some cards over. The attack card always goes first, and you do all the actions. And then the defense card flips their card over, and if you're successful, as in the card matches the arrow token and or anything else that meets its requirements, it inflicts damage. So what just happened here is I played a jab card after trying to psych him out with my invalid submission cards while we were standing, and he's going to eat 1 damage, and I'm going to follow it up with a cross. This is a good old 1-2 for you boxing fans. He's going to shoot for a takedown here, which is a very interesting move. So the fight can take place in one of 2 areas. The fight can take place while we are standing, and as you can see, that's where we are now. Or you can try to shoot for a takedown to the mat, which allows you to open up submissions and other cool things. That being said, some fighters excel in standing up, and some fighters excel being on the ground. So you have to kind of pick your combos wisely. I flip over my last card, and it's a hip toss. Yep, and so I toss him to the ground at the end of this combo, and he plays an invalid check kick. Yep, and he takes 5 damage so far in that combo. Now it's important to note here that invalid cards aren't always bad. Invalid cards can actually be pretty good. You can use them to psych out your opponent, basically juke them into using cards that would normally hurt you pretty poorly, and then you get to, do all sorts of inflicting of damage to them. Now there are special kinds of cards in the defense deck that you really hate seeing when you are attacking. Those are combo breakers, and what those do is they allow your opponent in the defense deck to basically end your turn early, and those are almost always valid while standing, but almost none of them are valid while you are on the ground. This, however, is in contrast to being submitted, so submissions are all valid on the ground and they are not valid standing. So now that we've ended that combo, we switch decks into the blue on my end and the red on Matt's end. Matt carefully selects his combo, lays it down face down in front of him from left to right. Come on, Matt, you can do it. Alright, Matt plays a feint card, and I will sweep. Now, this is a fun interaction because feint is a special card and allows him to change his next card with one in his hand. And sweep is one of my favorite cards. It allows me to go back to the standing level. Level changes only ever happen when players use cards or the round ends, which is always really cool. And since we went to the standing level, his jab was counterable. So as you can see, since I've used a successful combo breaker, his turn is over, and we just show each other the other cards just for fun. But effectively what you want here is to just leave that in secret. We're kind of friends here at the studio, so you always want to keep your opponent guessing. Well-timed combo breaker ends a whole lot of turns, so once we've ended that combo, we swap decks again. You can see my stamina meter just underneath my name, and I have only 2, which means effectively at this point I can draw 7 cards because I draw 5 cards from my hand and then 2 stamina that are left. It's not that much of a deficit. I mean, you really want to have a lot of options, but hey, I need to blow one to go to the standing level. Right here I use my fighter's ability. Talai's ability is to lead with a low kick or a high kick whenever she wants at the beginning of the combo, as long as you're standing. And yeah, it forces your opponent my opponent to discard a card. And this is really interesting here. Matt shoots for a takedown. That is very interesting. Do I want to go to the ground here is a real big question, and I don't think I do. Yeah, sounds like he's got a lot of submissions in his hand, so I'm going to choose to stay in the standing level, and I'm going to psych him out with an armbar, and he uses a check kick, which is a combo breaker. Does nothing. And now I flip over a jab for poking him with 1 damage, but he counters me. So this again is an example of a combo breaker. It's very cool. Use it to end your opponent's turn early. You really want to avoid running into those when you're attacking someone, but hey, things happen. And after a combo breaker is used, you end up just swapping decks again. So now you'll notice that in the bottom right corner here, it says combo 4 of 4. Now each round of Uncaged is consisted of 4 different combos. Each player gets to attack twice. And once each player has done all of that, that is the end of the round. And 3 rounds makes up the entire fight. So I'm going to try and end his turn early here, because that's what the defense's job is to do. And his turn is going to take a quick second. If you are really good at predicting your opponent, you can use things like the counter punch or the check kick to break their combo early. And we've seen this as an example a couple different times already. So he uses the low kick and I check it, which means we both eat a bit of damage, but more importantly, his turn is over. Alright, so I'll eat 1 and you will eat 2. Boop, boop. Oh baby, what did you have? Yeah, that's right. Would have been great. That's right. I got you. Alright, so now we're in the second round, and since I attacked first in the first round, he gets to attack first in the second round, and he leads with a jab, which is a very predictable move on his end. So I counter it with a counter punch, and it's a very short turn for him, so he's very sad about it. Like counter. Too bad. Too easy a read. preying on your amateur mistakes, sir.
I thought you'd be like, oh man, he's probably expecting me to counter punch right away.
Oh man, the shortest distance between 2 points in the straight line. Take that, sir. Take that. Ah! How do you like that? I got you. 2, 3. Now that I'm back to attacking again, we have full stamina because at the beginning of each new round, your stamina resets to the number on the card on your fighter. And so we take some time to think about it, and I flip over a low kick, once again using my fighter's ability. But this time it's me on the receiving end of a check. And yeah, you'll notice my fighter's ability to lie is really useful for aggressive players. It does, however, make her a little predictable on that first card. So he counters me, we switch decks, and we're back to this. He leads with a feint again, and I lead with a good corner. Now this is a fun interaction in the game because he can exchange cards in his combo with his hand, and I can rearrange my face down cards. So we have a bit of a shell game, if you will, going on. Let's see what we do here. I actually don't remember what happened. Alright, so it looks like I rearrange this combo a bit. And he chooses to do nothing, which is fine. There's no real issue with that. He follows feint with a low kick, and I check it for the combo breaker. Now, a lot of the times, you know, reading people isn't always as easy as I make it look in this. But hey, when you're a developer of the game, you get to play it a lot. So you get to pick on tendencies of newer players quite a bit. Yeah, show him what you would have discarded. Get him. Do. Alright, so here we are in the last combo of round 2. So at the end of this combo, our stamina is going to reset if we lose any. And in this case, I use up 2 of them to shoot for a takedown. I don't know if he defends it. I don't remember if he defends this. This is kind of interesting. What are you going to do, Matt? Are you going to defend this takedown? It's a bit hard. Decisions. And he lets it go. So now we're on the ground level where all the submissions are live. He plays a check kick, which does nothing because it's only valid while we're standing. And now my armbar is live, which means it inflicts 2 damage. So yeah, you'll notice these submission cards are mostly valid just on the ground, which is why I switched to the ground level. The unfortunate note of being able to use really powerful submissions is that your opponent can also use them on you as well. Now you can't be countered, but that doesn't mean you won't eat any damage. Once again, I flip over another armbar, and he flips over another counter punch. Once again, you'll notice that the counter punch card is only valid while we're in the standing level, which means sad panda for him. It doesn't do anything. It's invalid. Now I finally hit him with a jab on the ground, which is not a bad way to do things. Covers up with a shell, and then I follow it up with a low kick. And yep, does not have to discard anything because my card is not valid. And that is the end of round 2. So here we are in the beginning of round 3. As you can see, the level token resets to the standing level, and we all have our maximum stamina again. Since I defended first in the second round, I now get to attack in the third round. So here we go. And we take a little second here to just sort of realize where we're at. I have a pretty big lead at the moment. That actually comes from reading your opponent, which is a skill that you really need to have playing this game. You'll notice that we also have, if you follow us on social media or on the Reddit website, we have a bunch of expansions coming up, which is going to make reading your opponent a lot easier. Alright, so I flip over a feint. And the feint's pretty good because it leads me into a high kick. And high kick does 1 extra damage for a total of 5 since I revealed 3 grappling cards plus the 2 base damage it has. And yeah, that's basically how that card works. 5 damage total. I win the fight, and it is over. If you like what you saw here today, don't forget you can visit us on our social media accounts. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube. Don't forget to like, favorite, share, subscribe, and follow us on Reddit. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Take care. Bye.